In this video, I'd like to explain the idea of extraterrestrial discrimination. Lots of people are posting things on the internet and maybe have ideas because of the movie industry and whatever. Some of it could be government fear stuff about certain reptilians or extraterrestrials. Some of it was mostly just people stuck in 3D reality Earth here have the idea that extraterrestrials are going to come and invade them. This is not true. I do hypnosis and I have many friends that do hypnosis, and you can read Dolores Cannon's books, especially the Convoluted Universe series 1 to 4 and the 3 waves of volunteers. And what we find is that we all have lived many lives in many different shapes and forms in many universes. It goes on and on and on. But all extraterrestrials that are here are all loving beyond belief. When you get to be a higher conscious level like they are, you can just create life on planets. You can create minerals. You can create solar systems, I suppose, galaxies, universes. We've all probably had a hand in creating this universe as well. But I'm just talking about extraterrestrial discrimination right now. So when you're on a higher conscious level, you don't have these ideas like you have on Earth of the killing, the control, the power over others, the victimization, manipulations, jealousy, greed, all the rest of all that crap. That's just, that goes with the idea of life here on Earth. But this is not how life is in creation. If it was like that in creation, there wouldn't be a universe. There would be no galaxies and no other universes, because everything would be totally self-destructing constantly, and nothing would ever grow. Nothing, there would be no sharing of experiences or anything. So because of all this human rights, with all the hypnosis and all the people waking up now and understand all this, you know, people can that are discriminating like this, it can be a class action lawsuits against them with human rights. It comes down to the simple fact that the definition of a discrimination is something you can't do anything about. Well, we wake up and we remember who we are. Remember all of our many lifetimes in many different shapes and forms. And collectively, these are class action lawsuits against people that would, with human rights, that would do these discriminations. So basically, on things like anything sort of science fiction that has anything to do with, say, the idea of extraterrestrials, to have a disclaimer on there basically saying, you know, we have no evidence that extraterrestrials are, you know, going to take over the world, that they're mean, you know, or bad in any way, which they're absolutely not. So to have a disclaimer on movies, because, you know, there's no evidence that they are, other than humans made up evidence. And some people that write books and have written books in the past with certain things, I don't want to name names, but there are some people that created a lot of fear about extraterrestrials and many other things, just because they make a lot of money off of spreading fear to everybody. So all of you people who are awakening that remember all of this, all you star seeds, light workers, and just people awakening that say, hey, you know, I get that, I understand that. I want you to just tell everybody that, you know, that does these things, that it's discrimination. And also with human rights, to change the whole definition of what it is to be human. You know, something more like the idea of, you know, we're multi-dimensional, eternal beings, feeling the experience in a holographic universe, which have many videos to explain holographic universe, other dimensions, about extraterrestrials, a lot of business ones, about how business changes, and how all that affects us as we shift to a higher conscious level, because we're in a great time now of ascension to a higher conscious level. And with it, we can expand our consciousness, expand our feeling, and go out and just experience more. What happens is we don't want to have anything to do with the old three-dimensional ways of all the control over others, manipulations, victimization, greed, money, jealousy, all the rest of all of that, you know, killing, wars, all that stuff. And another thing, while I'm talking about discrimination, is as people start shifting into higher dimensional realities, people see a whole new way of doing things. The way they see, understand the world is not the same as people who were in three-dimensional reality. And probably one of the best examples of this is there is a Canadian guy who started a TV show called The Dragon's Den, and then started another one called The Shark Tank. And I love watching the show. I have a lot of business background, and they're all very smart business people that are on there, and I have a lot of respect for them all. But sometimes there has been a few higher dimensional, fifth dimensional people on there with fifth dimensional ideas. And these are the new ideas of the future, which I'll explain in other videos. But the new ideas of the future, and on there they're taking and they're making fun of these people. I mean, downright really picking and bullying some people. And they don't realize that class action lawsuit, they can sue them in human rights because they can't do anything about the fact that they are a higher dimensional being, and yet they're picking on them. So they have to understand, have a little more respect for these people, because they can learn from these higher dimensional people, like myself. Basically, the future idea of business is, and you can talk to younger people, and they all understand that if they're under 40, most people get this. There's no sense in making a product or any kind of business at all unless it benefits mankind. It has to be good for the all. It has to be good for everyone as a collective. It's not about having a business just because it made money. You chop down all the trees, you made all the money. It's not good for the planet, for the bees, for all the wildlife, you know, the water, the ocean, everything else. So to start with, one of the best ways is to all these people with these wonderful ideas, and these are the wonderful ideas of the future, getting in on, say, Apple, Google, Tesla, Microsoft, whatever, getting in on these companies on the ground floor by investing with these people at the beginning. So all these people, so the whole idea is actually probably in, say, investing thing would be to start the idea of mutual funds, whatever, with the idea of for all these not just green technologies, but higher conscious technologies, which is, you know, concepts of business, where people work more as collectives into things, and you know, the whole idea. Sometimes it's not so much that it makes the kind of money that it would make sometimes in a three-dimensional idea, but that it builds assets. But you're also building these future potential companies that could be around for 500 or 1,000 years, not come and go with the winds of change in three-dimensional reality. You know, there are a few companies, probably there's one Canadian company called Hudson's Bay Company. It's been around for like 400 years. You know, not so much that one time their fur was all about fur trading. Then it became a big retailer in Canada, and now the biggest thing with the Hudson's Bay Company is not so much that it is a big company, but it is a good company, a reputation of selling good quality goods, been around for 400 years. So it's not always about making the biggest amount of money, but having a really good, well-liked, respected company with wonderful business practices that looks forward to keep expanding those ideas of things. And these are where companies will grow into the future. Just a little bit about the business thing there, and about extraterrestrial discrimination. By the way, they love us beyond belief. They're going to be here soon. They can't wait. If you look around, you see ships everywhere, because they're going to, be here very, very soon. So, thank you. I hope you watch many of my other videos. Some of them will be very, very inspiring. Thank you.